everyone, and welcome to this webinar dedicated to CLIMAVER, the self-supporting duct from Saint-Gobain. We are going to spend 45 minutes together, and during this webinar we are going to discuss about several questions that you probably ask yourself about CLIMAVER, and the idea is that you know a lot more at the end of this webinar. Before we start, I would like to introduce briefly Saint-Gobain Technical Installation. So, what we are and what we are doing. We are operating across 4 markets: industry, marine and offshore, HVAC and OEM. We have a strong presence worldwide with our 2 international brands, CLIMAVER and Cayman, and also with a lot of local brands, local teams, and a lot of job sites also among all the world. We are experts in the area of insulation materials. As you can see, glass wool, stone wool, ultimate are light stone wool, and elastomeric foams. So now, let's start with the topic of the day. As I mentioned, you are going to be able to type your question directly in the comments of LinkedIn, and then we'll take time at the end of the webinar to answer your question. Welcome, Guillermo.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you.
I'm very pleased to spend some time with you discussing about CLIMAVER. Guillermo is our expert of CLIMAVER. You are a chemical engineer background. You have had several positions in the groups already, in the Saint-Gobain group, and you are now our HVAC International Product Manager. So, if I want to know about CLIMAVER at the beginning, the very basics, let's say, what would you say to detail it?
Let me introduce you CLIMAVER. Okay, this is a CLIMAVER board. Okay, you can see how it looks internally and externally. Okay, you can touch as well
thank
if
you.
Want, Michelle.
It's quite light, huh?
Yeah. And here you can compare with a metal duct.
Okay.
Okay, and you can perceive what do you feel.
Okay, yes, there is a big difference in terms of weight, for sure. Yes,
yeah.
nothing comparable, because this one is even bigger, but really lighter, in fact.
Yeah.
Okay.
As well, you have to take into account the safety as well. If this fall down, you can imagine what disaster can cause in the offices or wherever it's placed, instead of this one that is very light.
Yes, you can
and
get
as well,
hurt.
Another differentiation is that the metal ducting here that we show you in the example is not insulated for acoustics or for thermal topic. Okay, so in here in CLIMAVER we have an all-in-one product that provides thermal and acoustic insulation in one.
Okay, indeed, interesting.
Yeah.
And in detail, how do you work with it?
What is CLIMAVER in a more professional way? Okay, it's a dense and rigid glass wool board, okay, that provides thermal and acoustics in one. It's provided in 2 different thicknesses, so you can find CLIMAVER with 25 and 40 mm product, and it's going to depend the selection of the solution depending on the thermal resistance that you are going to need in the project. For you to know, the CLIMAVER is provided to you with SIP-lab, so with male and female, that is going to generate a very good connection and is going to accelerate the installation process, and as well is going to provide to you a very good airtightness to the solutions. The way to work is always the same. Okay, it's a flat board, cutting, close it, okay, to generate a rectangular duct and then generate the different shapes.
Okay, so we have here some example in terms of shape.
Yeah.
We have here one. This is an elbow, you say?
Elbow. Yeah, this is an elbow. Okay, it's the typical elbow. Here, what you can see in the external facing as well is some lines. Okay, that is going to make easier the installation and to accelerate the process of manufacturing the different shapes. And it's very light.
It's also very light, indeed.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Is there a range, or is it only this kind of product?
Yes, we have different products. Okay, depending on the facings that we have. Externally, we always have aluminum that is going to provide a vapor barrier. Okay, it's going to avoid that the water go inside the product. And internally we have different kind of solutions. We have the plus that is with aluminum inside, that is going to provide a more metal looking, okay? And we have the netto, that is our top sell product, that is netto facing inside, that is going to provide phono-absorbent solutions. So it's going to be very good in terms of acoustics. In addition to that, we have other solutions. That is, for example, the more aesthetic one, okay, the more colored one is the CLIMAVER Deco, that could have different colors as blue, red, green, gray, or black. Okay, that is going to give to your projects a very fancy looking, okay, with different colors. And as well, we have the opportunity to have a outdoors product that is called CLIMAVER Star, that the main difference is the external facing, because it's resistant to the different climate conditions that could be very high sun, so it's ultraviolet resistant, and as well you can face with hail, rain, snow. So imagine, depending on the part of the world that you are, this product is capable to resist the conditions. As well, we not only have solutions for building, okay, as well we have CLIMAVER for other two markets, for automotive in trains, with our train CLIMAVER, and in marine with the sea CLIMAVER, and all these products are tested following the standards of these specific markets.
Okay, so it's not only for internal, it's also for external, so good point also to keep in mind. And also the fact that it can be for train and for sea CLIMAVER. So when it comes to buildings, is there any specific buildings that CLIMAVER is designed for, or it can apply several times?
We could say that almost in every place that where you have a duct could be installed with CLIMAVER, and as well it could be installed for renovation and can be connected with other kind of solutions. But in terms of what types of buildings, we have CLIMAVER installed worldwide in residential, commercial, healthcare, offices, hotels. I don't know if I missed some, but in all kind of buildings, okay, and we to date, so we have more than 200 million of square meters installed worldwide, and in full compliance with the local legislation and adapted to meet diverse market requirements or conditions.
Okay, so it's a strong reference, of course, 200 million square meter installed already worldwide. It's already really important to underline indeed. So in terms of documentation, because you know when we have a product, there is a lot of regulation in the building business. So what kind of certification or document CLIMAVER can bring?
We have several kind of documents for different properties. Okay, for example, we have in Europe the ETA for CLIMAVER, that is circulated by the European Technical Commission to evaluate that all the properties that we put in our TTS or in our documentation is reliable, and it's done in representative laboratories, so it's well done and it's correct. Okay. As well, we have EPDs for all our range, so we have all the information related to sustainability in a document, but we have separated documents for each kind of legislation or location to be provided to you if you need any one of them. So relevant documentation are verified the compliance, and is worldwide and applicable to all the different situations or markets or locations that you are placing.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Now let's come from documentation to job site. So if we can come back on the installation, because this is really some key elements that we want to share also on this topic.
Yes, the way that we work always is we start with a flat board, okay? In this case that I have here is pre-cutted, because I'm not going to cut here. But here you have a pre-cutted duct, and it's as simple as fold it, okay? And then here you tape it and staple it. And with that, you generate a duct, okay? As you can see in the video, what you are going to have is a very simple table, so you can place the table in the place that you want, in your warehouse or in the job site, wherever you want, and you can move easily inside the job site. If you are, let's say, disturbing, or if one colleague needs to work in the same place that you are working, okay, you can move easily to other room or to other place to generate the ducts and keep being productive, okay? Another important point of CLIMAVER is that it's adaptable to the situation that you don't expect. So imagine that in plannings, usually everything is very perfect, okay? Ourselves, the engineers, used to be everything, or try to make everything the most straight that we can, okay? But in the reality, sometimes things happen, okay? Yeah. And you can see a wire in the middle, or a column that was not expected, or changes that can happen in a project, okay? And with CLIMAVER, it's very easy to adapt to that, okay? We just need to change the way that we cut the duct, the board, let's say. if we want to, we have the example of an elbow that Michelle showed you before. So you can generate the elbow before or after, just changing the way that you cut. So you are going to be capable to adapt to the situation that you face in a real project.
Okay, interesting, of course. And then also you mentioned the tools. So as we saw during the video, there is some tools to cut. So they are really dedicated for CLIMAVER.
Yes, here we have one example, okay, is the blue tool. It's important that we not only sell the boards, we sell a complete system. So we have the board, the tools, accessories like the tape, the profiles, connectors. So we can provide to you the complete system of the product, and every one of them, it's designed to facilitate the understanding and the way to produce. So to try to avoid mistakes. Okay? In this case, you will have colored the tools to make easier to the installers to verify that what they are doing is correct. For example, this blue tool is for the last groove that we make that generate a space to create the overlap to close the duct.
Okay, so depending on the color of the tool, you know exactly what is the use of it. So that's also very important to know that you make it as easy as possible.
Yeah.
All right. So it leads to the following question, which is completely linked to what we have already seen. So productivity. How can we increase productivity thanks to CLIMAVER?
Yeah, the key point of CLIMAVER is the fast and the easy that is to make that. Okay, and as I said before, okay, the important point of CLIMAVER is that you are going to have all-in-one. So you don't need to install first the metal ducting and then insulate it. You are going to be capable to make all in one step. So you are going to save a lot of time. Quantificate this, it means that CLIMAVER could be up to 5 times faster than metal duct. It's an average, depending on the project and everything, that is around 20 to 25 square meters per man per day. So it's going to generate a huge saving in terms of time, and it's going to be capable to make more projects in less time and be faster in the generator or the end of the projects. Okay. As well, it's important that CLIMAVER can be manufactured, as we see here, with these simple tools that don't need any electrical plug or whatever. So it could be done like that. But as well, it exists automatic machines that can generate these ducts in an automatic way. Okay. Very important in the projects is the space. Okay, more than ever in the renovation projects is an issue. Okay, but the space is always an issue. And with other solutions, sometimes you need a lot of space to stock the ducts that you are going to install. With CLIMAVER, this is not needed because you can have your boxes or the box that you are going to use during the day, only that, and you can cut it and install only the things that you need per day. As well, it's very important the optimization of the transportation. Okay, with CLIMAVER, as we transport it as flatboard, it's not going to transport or it's going to minimize the air transportation. With other solutions that are already conformed the ducts, as you can imagine, the transportation of air is high, and this is going to minimize the productivity in terms of transportation, and it's going to increase the CO2 emissions related to transportations. And last but not least, let's say that the important is money. Money is very important, the cost. Okay, and if we take in account all the factors, so if we take in account the product price, the accessories, the times, the hangers that you need, so everything, we could say that CLIMAVER is a competitive product in terms of cost. Okay.
Okay, yes, so very interesting indeed to underline that you need less space to store, less truck for the logistic, and also you increase the time on the job site to install. So these are, of course, in terms of productivity, key factors. So as we are talking about savings, what about energy savings for CLIMAVER?
Yeah, we could say that is very important. We are seeing the volatile that are the energy cost. Okay, so it's very important to try to minimize as maximum as we can. And I'm going to focus in 2 topics. Okay, the first one is the airtightness. And CLIMAVER provides to the HVAC system is better than the best class, following the European standard, so it's better than the class D. And in comparison with traditional ducting, let's say that it could provide 60% less of air leakage. When we speak of air leakage, you have to imagine that is the air that is losing during the transportation. Okay, if you have a net of HVAC system, you are losing air during the transportation, and at the end of the net, sometimes you don't have the air that you need. So you need to push more air. This is going to generate an extra cost. Okay, with CLIMAVER, as we reduce the air leakage, we can guarantee and minimize the quantity of air that we pass, that we push. Okay, reducing the energy consumption of the HVAC unit. Okay, if we go to the second point, okay, we can speak about the thermal resistance or the thermal conductivity. Okay, the thermal conductivity of CLIMAVER is 0.032, so it's a very good lambda. That, depending on the thickness that you choose, is going to provide different thermal resistance. If we use the traditional product, that is the 25 mm, okay, product, you are going to be able to obtain a thermal resistance of 0.78. Okay, and if we select the 40 mm product, the thermal resistance that we are going to obtain is the 1.25. Not only with that, as well, CLIMAVER, what can provide to the project as well is warranty that you are going to obtain in the 4 sides of the product the same thickness. Okay. One of the problems that sometimes we face with traditional method is when we install the external insulation or the internal insulation, we cannot guarantee that is constant the thickness and the thickness that we design in the total installation. In the corners, sometimes it's reduced the thickness, and this can generate condensations or can generate thermal bridges. Okay. With CLIMAVER, we can guarantee that in the 4 sides and in the corners we have the thickness that we design in the project.
All right, okay. Okay, so let's move on to another important topic in terms of performance. What about pressure losses?
Very, very important. And as you can see in the graph, okay, if we go to very high speeds, let's say 25, 29, the difference is reliable, so it's important. Okay, but if we go to the point, okay, if we go where the typical air speeds of a HVAC system, okay, that is between 5 and 8 meters per second, we can see that the pressure losses are quite similar. Okay, so it's not differentiation. You can use the same design that you use with metal or the same software to design the dimension of the ducting. So as right charts for metal ducts can be used with CLIMAVER. For demonstrate this, we have done several tests and several demonstrations. Here you can see one of them, okay, where we have a net of CLIMAVER and with same dimensions and same conditions with metal ducting. The difference is that the elbow of CLIMAVER is done with the 45 degrees angles, and in metal is circular, okay? Because all other question that we used to have is what effect has the elbow that we make with the straight duct method. With this, you can see that for air velocity that is higher than the typical air velocity of a HVAC system, is 15 in this case, or for around 15 meters per second, the pressure losses by local resistance and the pressure losses by friction are equivalent for metal than for CLIMAVER.
Okay, thank you for this detailed explanation. Now, in terms of limitation, because of course it's important to really underline where you should or where you should not use a CLIMAVER, so maybe we can also focus on that.
Yes, it's important to mention to you where we don't recommend to use CLIMAVER. For example, we don't recommend to use CLIMAVER for projects that require more than 800 pascals in positive or negative. Even we test the product 2.5 times more than the pressure that we certify. But even with that, we don't recommend to use CLIMAVER for projects with more than 800 pascals. But even with that, you can start with other solution that can support these 800 pascals, and then when you reduce the pressure, the static pressure, you can continue with CLIMAVER, because CLIMAVER is capable to connect with any kind of solution. Okay, the maximum air speed that we recommend is 18 meters per second, but as I showed you before in the chart of pressure losses, the typical air speeds are between 5 and 8 meters per second, so it's not typical to have this air speed. In terms of temperature, the maximum internal air temperature is 90 Celsius degrees, and the maximum external temperature is 60 Celsius degrees. And in terms of humidity, the maximum humidity that we recommend where use CLIMAVER is 75%, but with this, the typical, in places where the humidity used to be higher than this 75%, the units used to have dehumidificators, because no one wants to have a very humid air for the habitants or for the occupants of the buildings. Speaking about applications where we don't use CLIMAVER, we cannot use in fire-rated ventilation and smoke extraction ducts. Okay, these require fire-resistant ducts, not fire reaction. Okay, and we don't recommend to use in places with this chloride, like swimming pools and high humidity, because this could affect the mechanics of the solution. In terms of cleaning rooms, we can use cleaning rooms with two exceptions, that are the cleaning rooms with class ISO 1 and ISO 2. For the rest of the cleaning rooms, it's possible to use CLIMAVER. And we don't recommend to use CLIMAVER in the places where the ducts are going to be cleaned with liquids. Okay. With any mechanical method of cleaning, CLIMAVER can be used, but in the places where it's going to be cleaning with chemicals or with liquids, we don't recommend the use of CLIMAVER.
Okay. Okay, so a complete list, very clear. Thank you very much for that. You mentioned already fire, so we should also have some details how CLIMAVER reacts in case of fire.
Yes, important to highlight that CLIMAVER is reaction to fire. Okay, the minimum class that we provide is the class B S1D0. So here in the video, what you can see is a class B product, okay, with a flame, and the most important is what you cannot see, that is the smoke. Okay, this is what can generate problems to the occupants or the inhabitants of the buildings. Okay, the smoke. So in this case, CLIMAVER don't provide any smoke, meanwhile is burning. Okay, so the product is non-combustible or with limited combustibility, so minimum class B, but we have a product that is A1, that is A1 apta. No contribution to the spread of the fire, or very limited. As you see, it not releases smoke, or is very low. Okay, and no produce of flaming droplets or particles that can spread the fire to other places of the building.
All right. So now that we are talking about, let's say, health issue, what about indoor air quality?
Yes, CLIMAVER is designed for deliver fresh and clean air for all the building in the different lifetime of the product. Okay, and as well, a key aspect is that the material does not support the growth of mold and bacteria. Okay. As well, CLIMAVER fulfills low emission requirements for buildings. Here you have an example with CLIMAVER A2 Neto with all the accessories. Okay, so we have several tests to verify and to demonstrate that the emissions are below and high below that the limits required. And very important to mention is that all the isover glass wool, not only for CLIMAVER, for all the solutions of isover, are biosoluble. So it has the EUC certification that verify that the wool it's not going to generate any problem to the installer or to the final user.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So here we have already covered a lot about performance, installation, and also these fire topics. So what about sustainability? How CLIMAVER can contribute to have more sustainable buildings?
And it's a very important topic. Every day we could say that more and more important. Okay, you know that our motto is try to make the world a better home. Okay, and as an example, with CLIMAVER, what we can obtain. Okay, CLIMAVER helps to save materials and natural resources. Why? Because the core of the product is done with recycled glass, so it's going to be very good in terms of sustainability. As well, it's going to reduce the embedded carbon and transport-related emission. As you saw before, you are going to transport flatboards, so you are going to optimize the logistics. As well, helps to save resources. In the elbow that you see, you don't generate any waste, so it's going to reduce the waste during the manufacturing of the duct and as well during the lifetime of the product, and it's going to reduce the energy consumption, as you see, with the air leakage and the thermal resistance of the product. All these benefits or good terms in sustainability are described in the EPD. All our range has EPD, so all these results can be checked in our EPDs for the different products, and this is going to help you to obtain points in the green labeling, like could be BREEAM, LEED, WELL, or others that are more local. So CLIMAVER is a good solution in terms of sustainability.
All right. Okay. So we can even say that we can use CLIMAVER to decarbonize the building industry. So maybe we can have a look at that also.
Yeah, I would like to highlight one example, okay, of one country. In this case is France, with a new regulation that is the RE 2020. And the main topic of here, or the main objective of this regulation, is to reduce the CO2 footprint of the new buildings. But not only that. It's not only to reduce the CO2 of the new buildings, as well continue to improve the energy performances and reduce the consumption. So during the total life of the solution, try to reduce the CO2 linked to the topic. Okay, and make sure building be adapted to the climate changes as we face it during these times. Okay, we can have a very cold weather one week and very hot weather in the opposite. So we need that our buildings can be adapted to these situations. How they do it? They generate 40 sections, okay, and in one of them it's HVAC, that is the number 4, and the weight of HVAC is one of the 3 packages with most impact in terms of CO2 footprint. So if we can generate some, let's say, system that reduce the quantity of kilograms of CO2 in HVAC, we are going to be capable to reduce in a huge level the total embodied carbon of the building.
Okay, yeah, very clear, indeed.
And here we have an example, okay, with, well, in reality are 2 examples, okay, 2 different kind of offices. The first one is a small office of around 500 square meters, okay, and in this one the HVAC CO2 embodied carbon in HVAC is the 20%, so of the total 20% is related to HVAC, and only with the change of circular metal duct to CLIMAVER, okay, we can reduce 5% the total embodied carbon of the total building. So it's quite huge, the quantity of CO2 embodied carbon that you can reduce with the use of CLIMAVER instead of the circular metal duct in this case. It's around 41 kilos of CO2 per square meter. That is huge. In the case of the big office, okay, of around 4,000 square meters, the total contribution in CO2 emissions, in CO2 embodied carbon of the office is 17%, okay, and with the change of metal to CLIMAVER, we can reduce 5.5% of the total. If you want to know more about this, we have a webinar fully dedicated to this topic, and please, I invite you to check and to see this webinar.
It's on YouTube, huh? We have a YouTube channel, we mentioned that. Okay, so very interesting to zoom on this specific regulation, because it may apply some other countries in future, of course. Okay, so maybe also one last point that we need to mention, because everybody knows about it when you are inside the building, and it's acoustic.
Yeah, and we could say that every one of us suffer it in some moment, no? If you are in the cinema and you hear the air conditioning, or in the hotel and you try to sleep and you are hearing the fan doing, and you have to decide if sweat, no, or not, don't sleep because you have to turn on the air conditioning. And with CLIMAVER, this can be reduced in a high level, okay, because the acoustic absorption of the CLIMAVER Netto and CLIMAVER Apta is very high. So for CLIMAVER Netto is 0.85 and for CLIMAVER Apta is 0.90. So it's a huge quantity of noise that can be absorbed by the material, avoiding that the sound goes out. This is going to increase the level of acoustic comfort in the building, as well as can provide additional advantages, like could be the no need for additional acoustic liners. So you have the acoustic liner instead inside the product. As well, it could help to reduce or minimize the size of attenuators, of sound attenuators during the system. And CLIMAVER, in case of acoustics, is going to help you to mitigate the sound radiated outside the duct walls. So we mentioned that it's going to reduce or mitigate the source propagating along the duct, but as well is going to be capable to mitigate the sound radiated outside the duct walls.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Guillermo. That was a super detailed explanation. We mentioned a lot of topics already, performance, fire, safety, and so on, installation. So now, before going to the question, if you had to, let's say, make a summary of CLIMAVER and the key messages that you would like to pass, what would you say?
Yeah, I would like to highlight that it's an all-in-one product. So at the end, you are going to be capable to design a solution that is going to ensure the comfort. It's going to give you the opportunity to have a very efficient in terms of energy solution, and as well to comply with the fire safety. In terms of sustainability, CLIMAVER is going to give you the opportunity to design and to install a very low embodied carbon duct system that is going to reduce the total embodied carbon of the building or of the renovated building. It's going to give you the opportunity to reduce the embodied carbon of the building that you are designing or you are renovating. As well, it's very designer and installer friendly. As you see, it's very easy to adapt to the real situations, and as bring to you a lot of performances for the designers, is a product that is good to them because they are going to have a very light product. So it's going to be capable to make some idyllic things that sometimes is not possible with other solutions. And for sure, we as Isover can provide to you different trainings and technical supports during all the steps of the project, worldwide. Okay, so don't hesitate to contact us to give you or to inform you about trainings or technical support that we can provide to you.
Okay, I'm sure our customers will do.
Yeah, I hope.
Thank you very much, Guillermo. So now we are at the time for questions. I need to ask if there are some questions, so there will be a speak up by Marcela.
Hello, so yes, we have some questions. The first one is from Juan Jose. Do installers need a specific training before using CLIMAVER? And how many hours to learn to manufacture all CLIMAVER elements as elbows, transitions, reductions, and etc.?
Thank you to Juanjo for this question. Let's say that it depends of the skills of the installers. Some of them that are used to work with PIR ducting or other self-supporting ducts, they are not going to need too much time. But we could say that with 1 day installation training, they are going to be capable to make almost the 95–98% of the shapes. In terms of timing of the how much time do you need to make an elbow or whatever, it's incredible fast. Okay, it's just to make, you can generate an elbow in 4 minutes, 3 minutes, depending on the skills that you have. So you are going to be very fast. And the important point is that you can install directly. You don't have to wait to anything. You don't want to, and as it has the thermal and acoustic an acoustic insulation in one, you don't need to make an additional step. So you are going to increase the productivity of the installation in a huge level.
And the installers, when they pass from the traditional, let's say, metal duct, if this is the way they work daily, it's easy to switch from...
It's very easy, and for them it's a solution that they used to love because it's very light, and they are not going to keep listening the clink, 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 that sometimes is very disturbing for them. So the adaptation to the sizes and the dimensioning of the duct is very, very easy. And in terms of change the mind to transition to this, with a training of 8 hours or even less, depending of the skills, okay? But some of them, even they don't need any training, okay? They see some videos, and with that, it's more than enough for them.
Yes.
But for sure, we provide trainings, and with 1 day training, it used to be more than enough to the HVAC installers to be prepared to make an installation.
Okay, so the change can be very quick and very easy even. Okay. Okay, maybe another question?
Yeah, that's really good because with the answer we answered the second question.
Okay.
That was, do you have training for interested HVAC installers, and how about involving interest agents? So I think that you already answered it. The third one we have, can CLIMAVER be used for renovation projects?
A very good question, because yes, it could, and it's important to know that CLIMAVER can be connected with other kind of solutions. So imagine that you have an office that you just want to renovate one room, because it's the case. Okay, you can do it with CLIMAVER. You just need to remove the old system, and it's very easy to connect CLIMAVER with a very profile with the old solution. So it's very comfortable, it's very light. You just need to have the boards that I mentioned. Okay, so you just need one box, go to the place where you are going to make the renovation and install it, and you don't need a high space or whatever. And as I mentioned, in renovation used to happen that, for example, you need to work in one place, meanwhile the rest of the place are working or are still live, let's say. And with CLIMAVER, this is possible because you don't make any noise, you don't have to use any kind of machinery or whatever, and as well it's very easy to handle and to move in the job site.
Okay, yeah. So it's very interesting for installers also, mainly.
And for renovation is key. It's very, very, very easy and very, very friendly, because even you can be very fast. You receive a project and tomorrow you can be working on it. You don't need to wait to manufacture whatever.
To order,
you can be very fast and give to your clients a very fast solution and solve their problems in a very fast way.
Okay.
So we go to the next question. Do we have any testing that CLIMAVER is available with C area?
With C area, we have CLIMAVER. It's not any test worldwide, so it doesn't exist a test for C area. What we have tested is, for example, we have a product for marine. So more sea that marine, that a boat or a cruise that is there, it's C CLIMAVER. And what we can guarantee is that in sea areas, okay, like could be an island, let's say, where it's very costly or whatever, the CLIMAVER can resist the conditions, the salty conditions, because we are speaking that CLIMAVER is on indoors. So, okay, and as well is very important the relative humidity. If the relative humidity that is going to be through the internal part of the duct is lower than 75%, it's okay. It is higher, that is not very common, because no one wants to push humid air to a room, okay? The machinery used to have dehumidificators to avoid to push wet air to the areas. So CLIMAVER it's installed in several places in the coast. Okay, we have projects in Singapore, Thailand, Indonesia, in Canary Islands. We could say that it's a reliable solution for the coast areas.
Okay.
So we have one last question. In which type of project do you see the strongest benefits?
Wow. It's a good question because it's difficult to say in which project. No, I don't see a good option of CLIMAVER. But I could say that one of the biggest advantages is acoustics. We have another webinar about acoustics that you can hear how good could be CLIMAVER in terms of acoustics, but it's really incredible. Okay, when you hear is when it's changed your mind. No, but it's in projects where you need a very good performance in terms of acoustic, let's say a theater, a cinema, even a building. For me, it's very important to don't have back noise. So, but it's very, in a hotel, yeah. I could say that acoustics is important in every place, but okay, in some place could be more relevant. But so in the projects where acoustic is key factor, CLIMAVER is the best solution that you can find.
Okay. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. So no question anymore. Huh?
No, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, so that means we are at the end of the webinar. Once again, many thanks.
Thank you, Michelle.
Guillermo.
Thank you to all of you.
If you want to get more information, even you can download our brochure. So here you can see the QR code if you want to access directly the brochure on our website. We invite you indeed to visit our website, also our YouTube channel, and to follow us on LinkedIn so that you can receive regularly all our communication about our products and our webinar. So don't hesitate, of course, to contact us. We would be really happy to help and support you for any project. Thank you very much, and thank you again.
Thank you.
And see you soon.